Hello, hi. I'm setting up things a bit, just to see if everything is working okay. I did a test earlier, like 2 hours ago, and everything was going okay. So I'm just checking if everything is okay, but it seems so. Um, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna continue with what I was working on last time. I worked on Real Engine, which was basically um, the interaction menu. So at the moment there is no interaction menu in the game. I can explain a bit more of what I'm doing while I go through this. But basically, what has been done up to today has been to port a lot of the classes that are in the old PlaneShift, and all these classes have been migrated. You can see here in Visual Studio a lot of the classes that are already in Unreal Engine. So this is the Unreal Engine project, the PlaneShift Unreal Engine project, and which is made of code and Unreal Engine objects, which are mainly residing in the editor that I will show you later on. But basically, say the complexity of this is to have first of all, for me, is to learn the engine, because I'm not really an expert on it. I mean, you can say I'm an expert of the old one, of the old PlaneShift engine, because I changed so many pieces of it. But of Unreal, I actually really worked a little on it in the last few years. So I think the complexity is really to understand better the engine, to do some tests, which was I was doing the last few years, import models, see if the geometry is correct, and start to create a bit of the game. So at the moment, what we have a server running. I mean, I can start the server. The server is this thing. I don't know if you are in any way um, a programmer, so I don't know who you are, but anyway, if you are a programmer, you will understand it a bit better. If not, this is just the server window starting up. The good thing about the server at the moment is that it's a dedicated server. So basically, we have, I mean, in Unreal Engine, you can have different things. You can have different setups. I mean, the first setup you can have basically a game that has a client and server kind of embedded into the same let's say code, into the same executable. Okay, so into the same program. So basically, you can have the client and the server running basically seamless, one inside the other. So you have you say you have the server here, and you have the client on the other side, and you don't even see it, right? You don't even have to programming wise. You see it just as a single program, which is very strange to me, because I'm not used to that. In PlaneShift, we really had completely separate well, not completely separate code bases, but anyway, we had completely separate executable. There are some libraries that are in common, obviously, but I mean, launching the server, launching the client, two different processes, completely separate. And so you do things here, and you do things on the client. In Unreal, at least the default is to have everything in a single place. Now, can you split it? Yes, for sure you can split it. And in fact, we want to split it, because you don't want, let's say, when someone launches the game, to also launch kind of a server, on their machine. While in theory they could, but it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Because we don't want every person to have its own server. We want to have like a separate server. So yeah, so there is another mode, which is not this one, in which basically Unreal Engine allows you to have a dedicated server. So you basically split server and client completely, and in this case they kind of still share a lot. At least in Unreal, they still share a lot, like all the maps, all the all the logical objects like the character, the interaction, and whatever, they share a lot, but yeah, they stay separate. So what I'm launching here, what I launched here is the actual server. So it's what we call the dedicated server. So it's a separate server to which the client will connect. So I can launch the client as well. The client looks similar, but finally has this sort of UI, so it will be more sexy to see. And when it goes up, you will see, yes, this is like our login page, which is pretty similar to the old PlaneShift page. I mean, it's not the same, as you can see, like the font and whatever, but we are, I mean, this is just an initial test, right? And we ported the graphics, so the graphics are here. We ported the let me just keep this open. By the way, you can chat if you want. I don't know if you have anything to say. You can chat. I'm reading the chat sometimes while I go through this. So we have this login page which actually works already. So whenever I'm connecting to the server, to the dedicated server, at the moment we have guest as a default. Well, actually there could be multiple servers here, but as you can see, now it's pointing to my local server. So I just go kind of a guest, and as you can see here, a lot is happening on the background. So the server actually received the actual connection. The client requested to the server which kind of map he has to load, and the server started to load everything. So you see the server actually started to initialize, let's say, the board, and actually we have divided, if you see all these Iliacum 0001, 02, 03, 04 are basically all the sector of the first level that actually Ravna has set up, which basically allows us to load all the maps. Okay, in short, basically we are loading all the maps. Now most of these maps are empty. I think there is only one that is there. And then you have this simple UI where I mean, at the moment it's just the podium map. This map is the same one that we use as a background for the characters, for the character selection, and for the doll view, the one that you see in the inventory. And this one is yeah, it's a pretty old map. I mean, it's pretty fun to see. It's been made I don't know 14 or 15 years ago. I don't know, so many years ago. Maybe even more, because this one was probably one of the first that we used also, kind of in the 2D version of PlaneShift. But anyway, let's say apart from the fact that it can be revamped and improved, I think these textures are probably one texture, which is this background, is probably like I don't know, 128 by 128. I don't know. It's super small. I mean, in the world of today, I think that this texture is probably the resolution of an icon on your phone, right? So, but anyway, so I think we can yeah, we can improve a lot. But here there is the old level, and here you have already a kind of a selection of characters which actually are read from the database. So what is happening in the screen is that after the login, we get already a connection to the database, which is pretty cool. Yeah, there is some debug information here, so it's just because we need to. And we connect to the database. We check for the password, obviously, and check if the account is correct, and then we extract all the characters, and it is working already. So this means that at the moment, let me see if I can open maybe the SQL Workbench. Let me just move it for a second. But if you want to see the database side, which I don't think is very exciting to you, depending who you are, but if you're a programmer, it could be. If we go in just a second, I will be with you in a second. Okay, if we go to the database view, we have yeah, we have our account table and everything. So we logged in as guest, which is the character number 3, the account number 3, sorry. and we have our characters table here. And the beauty of this is that all the database is exactly the same database of the old PlaneShift version. Okay, so we didn't do any changes for Unreal Engine of this thing. So the beauty is that when the Unreal Engine will be up and running, hopefully soon, but yeah, depends on how much time I will have and other people will join. But we don't have to change the data. So all the characters, all their quests, all their progression, all their stats, all their whatever, all their comments, all their petitions, all whatever they added to the game, it will be exactly in the database and read by the new version already. And yeah, just to prove you this, if we select for PlaneShift characters where account something account is equal 3, yeah, we find these 4 characters which are exactly, I don't know if you can see it, maybe it's too small, so I don't think the font is really the best here for streaming, but anyway, you have here your guest, your Craniting, your Guild Boro, and your Pizur, whatever it is, which are exactly the 4 characters that we find in the UI, right? Exactly those 4. So this is working already. So we read the accounts, we read the characters, we can delete a character, we can create a new character, and the new character will be added already to the database, exactly following the same structure of the old PlaneShift, which is pretty cool. Yeah, for the new character, yeah, it is a bit rough, huh? Yeah, what we are doing here at the moment is not to change the camera, but just to have this overlay of the character creation on top of the previous thing. So you see, if I click here and I click here, it's just the same thing, just going back and forth. But okay, this is a bit brutal, I would say, but this is what we did for now. Maybe in the future we will change it completely. Maybe we will have like a completely 3D character creation, like all the modern games. So I don't think that a UI to create a character is good. I mean, I don't think it's good anymore. So I think that we should potentially change it. But one of the ideas was that we would keep the game logic and we would keep all the assets that we have kind of the same for the first version, because we don't want to. I mean, we don't want to redo everything. Okay, so it would be a freaking mess to redo everything. So we want to redo just few pieces. It's very interesting. I'm seeing that the Unreal Engine window can be resized without any issues. It's pretty cool. Let's see what happens if I make it super small. It starts to get a bit mad. I mean, yeah, I mean it doesn't work at such a small resolution. But anyway, it's pretty fun that pretty good that he keeps it scalable. So yes, you can create a character, and by the way, we have already implemented some of the functionality, like suggest a name probably works, and is using exactly the same code of the old PlaneShift. So the names are generated exactly the same way, right? Which is a good proof point to me, because it means that we can go basically we can reuse a lot of the code. I don't remember exactly where is that part, but it's somewhere here. Is inside. I think there is a server piece which is under creation manager. Probably the creation manager has all the logic for generating names, and I don't remember exactly where, but it's here somewhere. Okay, so creation manager, calculate choices, load life event, show creation choices. Anyway, it should be here somewhere. And and so this means, and again, the code that we have here has been changed. I mean, like 20% maybe at the moment. So he adapts kind of okay to Unreal Engine, at least for the server side. Obviously, the client side is completely different. So there is no way that the client side stays the same just because the client side is yeah, is completely redone in a real engine. Has to be redone, but the server side is there. So what we so I just wanted to show you a bit of what we have here and what is possible today. We can create a character, we can select a specific race. I don't think that this is changing anything on the UI at the moment, but it actually creates one race compared to another, and then you can go to the quick. In the quick is already working. I mean, sorry about the UI. I mean, if you look at the UI, it is a bit fucked up, but the reason is that the fonts are not yet scaled properly, but again, it was just a test. It loads the data from the database as well, and then you can upload a character. I think randomized does nothing. By the way, it's the wrong icon when I click. Whatever. So if you upload, it uploads the new character, and you will then find it here in your list. So I mean, it does something. I mean, it's not super good, but it does something. So after this, you can enter the game. Okay, so you can click on play, and actually you are here in the game. I don't know if you can hear the sound, but someone added the sound to the fountain. Probably. Yes, I think it was him. But yeah, you can already move around, similar to the Crystal Hunt. You know, the Crystal Hunt small game that we have created. What I'm trying to do now, you will see this interact UI floating around. You see this thing that is floating around the character. The reason it's floating there is because I'm trying to add some sort of interaction UI when one character approaches an NPC or approaches something that you can play. It could be something that you can get information from, or what we call information, which for you I don't know what is it, but it's something you can click on, like a description, or click on the object, or if you click on an NPC or another player. So we would like to have this interact UI showing up. Now I just started to do this, and actually I don't know exactly why is always active. The idea was that it was active only when you are approaching a character. So when you're close to an NPC, yeah, when you're close to an NPC, then it would pop up. By the way, we already added some things here, like some particles, which are converted from. Well, we are not converted; they are remade. They are remade in a real engine. I mean, the light itself in a real engine should be better, definitely, than the one that we have in PlaneShift. Even though if I'm seeing some weird artifacts here, like there are some positions where I see that it's kind of flaming up the character, but it's lighting up the character in a kind of a weird way. It's okay. It's fine. I mean, it's not a big issue. But if you can see the light, okay, the light on the character, you will notice the differences between, say, the old engine and the new engine, and obviously we get all of this basically for free. Yeah, basically for free. Hi, Emmeline. I don't know how to pronounce your name, by the way, but yeah. Yeah, the sound is stronger than my voice, I guess. And yes, that sound in the fountain is extremely loud. I don't know why. But anyway, so this is the game running. Now we will go to the editor just to see. I wanted to show you a bit. Maybe part of this video I will leave it on the channel just as say something for other people to look at as well, considering that I'm explaining a bit of where we are, could be interesting to other people. and then I will go more into continuing the development. But maybe I should turn off that sound. Yes, other thing that I did, other thing that I did was to let me mute the sound here for a second, or lower it so yeah, so I don't hear this thing. Other thing that I did, yeah, this lady doesn't like this, but is hi Rodolfo. Rodolfo or Rodolfo? Rodolfo. Hi. So we another thing that I did was to try to load NPCs from the database. Okay? So to load them directly from the database, and actually it works. So there is a function in somewhere in NPC spawn manager which is loading the characters in yes, in the spawn manager is loading all character data. Is going again to the database, and what it does, it goes into this table, which is our character table, and is basically selecting all the characters that are actually NPC, because we have a flag for that. So we have a flag for NPCs, which I don't remember which one it is, but I think it's like NPC type, or so character type is called, and yeah, it is. Character type, yes. Character type, basically, if it's 0 is a player, if it's 1 is an NPC. So basically what we do now, we where character type equal to 1. So what we do now in the code is basically to check all the character type 1, and at the moment, irrespective of the map, because at the moment we have only one map loaded, which is the main part of the city, we try to load these characters. Okay, so this is what I did. It kind of works, but for some reason, if I ask Unreal Engine to load them all, it starts to complain about the position being invalid. So I don't know exactly why. So I will have to check that later on. I mean, another day, not today. But so basically, I cut off at the moment the loading to one character only. Don't remember where is this. I think it's inside. If we pick the definition of this in the code, I think I did. Yeah, I think did exactly this line. I did something very brutal, which is just to say, okay, while you are loading the characters, I don't care, just load only one. After you loaded one, just exit. Okay, because it was throwing these positional errors somehow. Yeah, it was giving issue about position. But basically, this allowed us to load this character. I don't know why she's there. I mean, if, because I think the position is 0, vertically 0. No, it's just a random number that I figured out. Okay, anyway, I think that in the future, what we want to do, we want to position the character and then place it on the ground. So like it is falling down, but before the shoot fire, and basically intersect the ground. But I don't think so. It is calculating. I think it's just recording specific position. So the current code can do this, which is nice. We can load the NPCs in. Now, can we load them with all the characteristics? Can we load them with the clothes, the armor, the weapons, everything? Yes, the sound. Yes, the sound is 3D sound, like yes, like in PlaneShift, by the way, because we already have a kind of a 3D sound, but it's much more. I mean, it's much more primitive. It's hear all the sound. I mean, I will show you how you can set up the sounds in the editor. It's so cool and so easy compared to what we do in so, but basically this is where I am. So we have a character creation running. We can create a character, create a character. We can get into the game. We imported the level and it's actually working. We imported two characters. They are working. They have their, you see, they have their walk animation, run animation, and also the other animations are working properly. And that's it. So this is where we are. So now to make everything else but remember that many of the functions are already in the code that I ported last year and the year before. So there is a lot of stuff. So for example, if you go here and you check what we have, for example, we have dictionary. Dictionary is basically the engine that makes the character speak, the NPC speak. So I mean, the first thing I want to do with the UI is just to be able to click on this lady, and I want to send a kind of a hi message, and I want her to answer like PlaneShift old version. So I want her to answer with the message that she wants, and then we can expand it a bit, and maybe allow me to type something or to select an option, and then our quest system will be working. And there is the goal number one. I have at this point. I want to prove that the quest engine is working and should be working. Because all the logic on the background is already migrated, so it's already in Unreal. So the server today is capable of reading, is already loading. If you see the server, when it starts, I don't think I can increase the font for you. I'm sorry, I don't think I can increase, or can I? Because I think can you see it? Can you read this on stream, or is too small? I don't know if it's too small, but I think I can increase it. Can I? I actually never did it in a DOS window because I liked how it was. Yes, I can. Well, I don't like the font at all, but isn't there a more standard? Yeah, like this is much better. Hi Morgan, how are you? I'm messing up with this thing here. Yeah, I can increase it like as much as I want. Can you read this text? Can someone tell me if you can read this thing that is in? I mean, apart from the fact that you don't understand what it is, but but just to see if the size is good enough when shown on stream. Yes, no, maybe. Can someone answer? Is anyone there? Is anyone there? I don't know. Do you have to be logged in YouTube to be able to type something? Probably yes. Huh? I don't know if there is kind of a guest thing or. But hello, hello, anyone there? Can you read the text on screen, or is it too small? Silence. Okay, I'm alone. No problem. Yeah, I had to create a channel to type it. Really? You had to create a channel? You had to create a channel? I mean, you could. Really? Okay. It's still too small like this? Holy shit. Okay, it's still too small. Okay, so okay, I can increase it more. It's no problem. It's important for me to know what you can read and what you cannot read. Otherwise, it would be Uh, 760p is too small. Small text, but it is not small now. I mean, the one in the main window, right? Not the one. Okay, this one on the side, this one that I'm showing now. I understand it's probably too small. I think maybe you are looking at it on your phone, but if you're looking at it on the normal PC, it was like okay. Anyway, so okay, I will stay like this, but what I wanted to show you, I don't remember. Ah, yes, I wanted to show you that the actual engine at the moment. Let me try to make it even bigger. I think that font size doesn't cost me anything, so I can make it bigger. Wow, like this, I think you see it. It starts to be hard to navigate, but I think you can see it. When the engine starts, and this is the server end, the server piece, right? There is this debug init game, which is basically me saying hello. Then you see there are a bit of debugs, just doing tests with different things. But apart from this, the important points are that the engine is currently loading all our scripts. Let me see if I find the line where it says scripts loaded or something like this, because all of this is not very easy to read. Okay, so is loading all the math scripts. So basically, is already able to parse and understand all the scripts that we use in our rules. So, for example, when you attack, there is a script that runs and determines how much damage you do, right? Or when a monster attacks you, there is a script that runs and checks if your armor is kind of blocking it, right? And things like that. So all those scripts are already loaded in Unreal Engine, and the server is capable of interpreting those scripts and running those scripts, so which is great. Plus, the engine is already loading skills, limitations. I don't know what is this one. I think is in the character creation potentially. I don't remember. It's loading the races. It's loading the traits. It's loading the weapons. It's loading the categories and the item animation. The important point is that created a channel, but can you log in just with? Can't you just log in with Google something with a Google account? And yeah, because if you have to create a channel, to chat, it's pretty tough. I mean, I may switch to Twitch or to something else, to Twitch live. I think it's probably easier because I think the interaction with the people is much is fun, So how can you change your channel name to YT without changing real name? On YouTube, sorry. How can you change your channel name to YouTube without changing your real name? I have no idea. I think I have here my PlaneShift thing. I have the PlaneShift channel. And I think you can associate to the channel a number of people, because actually multiple people can manage your channel. But I really would like I'm really interested to know if you can chat and live stream. Sorry, I'm on another monitor. Chat on live stream YouTube with Google account, because it should be possible without creating a channel, unless I have to enable it somehow. Live chat for YouTube, how to turn on chat, how to turn how to live. I don't know. I will search it later, but I think it should be easier for you guys to actually type things. Okay. But do you have a Google account? Apart from the channel, do you have a Google account? If you have a Google account, maybe just log in with a Google account and not a YouTube account. Okay. Yeah, but it's weird that you have to create a channel to actually follow a stream. Okay, anyway, what I wanted to show you is that, yes, we are already loading a lot of stuff here. We're loading a lot of stuff. We are loading items the 6 ways. Well, there'll always be 6, I guess. This number will not change much, but we're loading the 6. We're loading the factions. and then we are doing a bunch of other random stuff which are basically tests. The invalid, I don't know. We are loading 29 quests. Obviously, here we are speaking of the test database, of the dummy database. Okay, so it's not the full PlaneShift database, which has hundreds and hundreds of quests. It's only the yes, say the test database, which contains just the minimum needed for having something running, right? Then attack types, but you see, I mean, we're already loading a lot. We are loading trade transformation. We are loading crafting. So trade transformation, trade processes, trade patterns, all of this is crafting. So actually the server is already capable of crafting some, let's say the server knows the process to craft something. It's not able to craft yet, but is already interpreting all of the crafting, which is nice. Is loading crafting books, tips, bad names, armor versus weapon, which is the table that basically tells us how armor reacts to impact on weapons. Is loading movement modes, movement type, blah 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 blah, a lot of stuff, server option, good modify. So all of this is loaded. Now, loaded does not mean that you can see it on screen. Okay? So it doesn't mean that those weapons are available for you to spawn in the hands of this guy. Unfortunately, not yet. But means that the server side knows it. And the server side is capable of loading those. And so, okay. Well, let's move on. I think I gave you enough of an introduction where we are, what we want to do. The first thing we want to do is to put this in a way that it actually works. Okay? Because at the moment, if I press, you see that I added a small blue text. Maybe it's too small, you can see it, but I added a small blue text. Whenever I type, I press E, because my interaction key at the moment is E. It tells me if I interacted with something. Right? The problem is that at the moment it's really not working. I mean, wherever I go and wherever I am, it says interacted. Yeah, so I think I'm interacting with myself. So I think that my character is sensing that this character is possible interaction. Yeah, probably that's the issue. So we have to exclude ourselves in this thing, otherwise we will interact with ourselves. Okay, I'll show you a bit of this. Now, where do we go from here? Let's say while we work with the editor, with the real editor, we can keep the server running. It's no problem at all, and we can. Yeah, we can keep the server running, but the client we have to close. Okay, so we have to close the client and launch the engine, the editor. Sorry, the editor. So to launch the editor, I have two ways. Or I launch it without PlaneShift in it, and then I load PlaneShift, or I launch it directly from the PlaneShift exe, which was I'm doing now. So this is basically launching the editor with the Unreal project, the PlaneShift Unreal project already loaded in. So what you will see now is the actual editor. So the editor is something that is provided by Unreal. Extremely cool, extremely handy to use, and it's a very good thing. So this is the editor. Maybe some of you have seen it already. For the one that didn't see it yet, it looks like a 3D application. Right, so you have your central view here with your coordinates and your thing, a bit like Blender, I don't know, right? A bit like Blender or 3 Studio Max, but you can see things in space. And then you have maps, and then you have this content browser at the bottom where you can browse for all the assets that we have in the game. The very good part. And I'm sorry, I don't think I can zoom more than this. Can I zoom it? No, I cannot zoom it. But anyway, I can do. What can I do? I can do this. I can do this. yes, this part now should be big enough, huh? This part is what is saying? Yes or no? No, I'm changing channel. Not sure the way to show or something else. Okay, you're still discussing about that Google thing. So the good part is that you have the Unreal Engine objects and the C++ classes as well. So, which is something that for an old guy like me, for an old engine guy like me, is insane. So it's extremely good because it means that you can see actually visually, the classes. So if I go here, I have my PS character class, which is actually an object of Unreal, and the incredible thing that I can take this class and drag and drop it into the board, and it means that that object would stay there with all its properties and all it can do, and so yeah, pretty insane. I mean, thinking to do just this drag and drop in the old PlaneShift, I mean, it's millions light years away. I don't know how to say, but it's like a completely different universe. Something that in the old engine we could never achieve. Right? Okay, other cool things that he has, like you can edit UI visually, obviously. So if you want to go to the login screen, you want to change something, we can do it with the UI. Today we do it in the old PlaneShift. We do it by editing XML files manually, and there is no real UI, there is no real application to change things. Here I can just get my screen, my login. I want to move it to the left, I move it to the left. I want to change the font, the size. I want to say that this button is doing something. I have all the events here on the right, and you see that when this one is clicked, it does something, right? So everything is, I mean, I can do a lot of stuff without programming, basically really a lot of stuff without programming, or with a different type of programming language, right? So which is very good. And then I can do this. I can, for example, for the credits button, I can say, okay, show me the code. And what you see here is actual Unreal Engine, let's call it visual scripting. They call it blueprints, but it's a kind of a visual way to program, right? So you can yeah, you can tell the engine what to do when a specific button is pressed, and the things you can do are pretty amazing. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff. You can it's not just that you can like change the color of the button, right? So you can really call your own code. You can load characters, you can load items, you can trigger particle effects, you can do whatever you want. You can basically trigger anything that is in the engine today. So I don't know, maybe I sounds like a salesman for Unreal Engine. No, I really like it. I think that the change from the old engine to this one is huge. I mean, we didn't have anything like this. I mean, everything that we were doing in the old engine was by code. So it was inside Visual Studio and coding, and everything was a code. So even a simple login window was an XML file, a text file with all the information in it, and then we were calling pieces of it from the code and triggering things based on the ID of the button and such. So it was so painful now. So if you look at it now, it's so painful compared to having an engine, having a UI that you can edit things. Okay, so we have 8 people now watching. I'm honored of 8 people watching. I don't know who you are, but I guess most of you are not able to chat for whatever reason, because you have to create a channel to chat. But if you want to do it, just click on your icon and create a channel or create a user ID or something. I think YouTube or Google should allow you to do this, and then you can chat. Okay, then you can chat. here, like this. I think he also has some icons. So yeah, he has some icon thingies. Okay, so what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do is, I'm just thinking if I want to show you something else of the engine, because I think I can take the first part of this video and just keep it online for someone else to see. What do I want to show you more of the engine? Well, I can show you that you can load the full level. I mean, you can load inside the engine. I don't remember if it is Hidla or Hidla 08. Do you want to save this? No, I don't want to save this, otherwise our login screen will be slightly messed up. I want to go in wireframe, or I want to go in lit. No, I want to go in wireframe. Search our level. I don't remember if our level is here. Yes, our level is here. Unreal Engine can manage pretty big spaces. We still have to test exactly how to render a full level, like the level 1, like the dome level of Idla, in one shot. But the idea is that Unreal Engine already has the ability of what is called streaming levels. So basically you are loading into memory only the pieces that are needed, and then while you walk you start to load the other areas. So it will not be like today that in PlaneShift you have the loading screen at a certain point, so like you switch from the main city to the east side of the city, and you get like a loading screen. It waits there for some time, and then you pop up, like teleportation on the other side, right? So is a bit better than this. So he has the concept of of streaming. So while you go, is dynamically loading the other pieces, as you go. So let me just focus on this one, so we go a bit closer. Focus selected. So yes, here is the main city. The changes that we did, I don't remember if I did it. No, I think Vanland did it. I don't remember, but anyway, we added this terrain, right? You may recognize the city, but not the terrain. The reason is that for some reason around Hidla, the terrain in the old PlaneShift is just geometry. So it's just like flat planes, made of very few polygons. So they're extremely, how to say, extremely vintage. Okay. Extremely vintage, I can say, just to be kind. I don't want to say shitty, but I say extremely vintage. And so you get a bit of an unrealistic effect. Now we can have terrain, generated terrain, or painted terrain, which is much better the looks. Right? So we can have this terrain also here. So this is what we changed. Obviously there may be seams, so we have then to check for seams. Like here you see there is a pretty big seam. There's already a bug, you see, we already found it. There's a pretty big seam that has to be closed or improved or whatever, but this is not the purpose of this first test. Okay, so in the first test it's fine. If you look at the lights are pretty bad here in the editor, because the editor is trying to render everything in a very quick way. I mean, not messing around with reflections and water and everything else, but is even if water is here, but like when I stop, the water stops. It's just to save time, save memory, and be quicker. If I move, you see the water starts to move again. Other things that are not showing here, for example, the particle effects that are played only when I go into play mode and such. But you see here, for example, there is a nice sound effect, which is the icon of a speaker. So this one is actually the sound effect that of the water, and yeah, it plays based on positional 3D. I can click here. I think I can play. Thank you. He played it. Okay. Yeah, you can position sound just visually, you know. So you want this sound here, you want another sound there. To change the sound, you just change the sound here. You have a number of yeah, like the temple flames, the Langs temple flames, which are, where is the temple here? Which are here. They probably have another, yes, another small, let's say, speaker icon, and these ones are loading the other sound. So I mean, pretty cool overall. Very easy to manage, you know, very much easier. I mean, today in the old PlaneShift engine, if you want to do something like this, we have to again edit a file in an XML file, try to figure out the position in coordinates, so giving to him this kind of numbers like this 20,000 by 32,000 by 10,000. Here you just click on it, you move it, you want it in another place, you want this in another place, you want to speak in another place, and that's it. And so it's burning flames, I think it's this one. No, it's the burning flame. Fire. There is the fire thingy. I don't know what is attached actually because I didn't do it, but it should be here somewhere. Anyway, okay. So there is a bit about the engine actually and what it can do, and how we edit things. Now I think we go to do finally something. Okay, I'm speaking since 1 hour, and I think that like we can start to progress a bit. Okay, so the objective of this stream is twofold. On one side, I want to keep you a bit informed of what we are doing, which I think is cool. Anyway, so we know a bit what we are doing, what I'm doing, and maybe other developers, if they want to stream, I can give them the same code, you know, that I'm using now, so they can stream on this channel. It would be cool if they could do it. But the second objective is really to force me to work on this thing, right? Because motivation is a big thing, but I have a lot of motivation usually, but there is a big mountain to climb. I mean, it's not like oh, I'm going to, you know, to have a big effort for a few days and then I'm seeing big results, you know. So it is a pretty big mountain to climb, and so I need some motivation and some rhythm and some schedule, right? Assuming, unfortunately, I have a job which is pretty demanding, by the way, so I will not be able to do it always. But I think that, yeah, if I do a bit of streaming, maybe some of you is there, you say hello, you tell me something, I feel that there is someone else, you know, kind of watching or working, and maybe they give some ideas and such, and it could be, so it's a bit more fun than just developing alone, you know. So, and I think I can get a bit more motivation by this. So that's one of the points. If you want to know how much we worked on Unreal Engine, I can tell you. We have an internal subversion system where we keep all the changes and all the modifications that we do. If you see in 2018, there's been very little. I did 3 changes in January. Well, say three check-ins, which means that there are multiple changes. You see there are many classes modified, but I worked a bit on 17th of January, 16th of January, 15th of January. Then I worked a bit on, say, yes, November. Then like December, I didn't do anything on Unreal Engine. December is completely empty. November I did quite a bit. October I did a bit. Like I skipped completely September. I did something in August. So I mean, we are not working on it a lot. Right? It's not like the old days of PlaneShift. Like every day there were like 10 check-ins. Like it was really great. But it was also another time, right? But yeah. So the purpose of this, and I think we can end here the first part. So if you think you will be bored by very technical stuff, you can leave now. But if you want to stay with me, I will really appreciate it. It will be very fun to stay together and to try to understand how this freaking engine works if you have the time. And we can open the second part, which I'm actually trying to do something, okay, to do something useful and to move the game forward. And I can start now. I don't know if I can continue to speak so much, but I will try, so to keep you awake and to ensure that we have some interaction. If you want to type something in the chat, you are very welcome. And I will try to say I will try to do the same tomorrow. I think I can tomorrow evening to do the same 2 hours or more, and I think I can do the same also the next day. I'm unsure about Friday, but I think if I can keep like 2 hours per day in the evening, that would be pretty cool. Okay, let's do something. What we want to do, we want to check why our interaction menu is completely fucked up. So what we have as an interaction menu, we actually have an interact UI, which is very simple at the moment. It's just one label, which is the interact UI. But here, if you want, we can have anything. We can have buttons, we can have scroll bars, we can have tooltips, we can have whatever we want. Right? So this is a full UI. So this UI is the same as the one that we have in the login screen. I mean, in terms of capabilities, you know. So we could add a login screen next to a character if we want to, right? In theory. So we could really do whatever we want. Now, can we recreate the old pop-up when you right-click on a character and it pops up? Yeah, absolutely. So we could do it here if we want. But at the moment, the plan is to just show a kind of a UI to know if we are close to another character. Then, when we press E, interact with him, send him a message like hello, and see if through the whole chain of things going down to the server, the database, and coming back, we can get a response. Okay, so what I want is a freaking response from the lady, from the Dermorian lady. I want a response, and the response could be, I think she answers to hello, right? I think in our database well, we'll have to check if she's associated to knowledge rules. It should be, but we can go and check later. At the moment, I don't care too much, but we should then check that she actually has some data loaded. I don't remember where it is. Is here NPC knowledge area. So this table is the table that keeps the knowledge of the NPC. So that tells what each NPC knows, okay? What areas of knowledge he has. So, for example, he may know about being a merchant, or about blacksmith, or he can know about, I don't know, the winch, or things like this. Right? And each of these is then pointing to NPC triggers and NPC responses. NPC triggers, NPC responses, which are yes, like greetings. You know, let's say maybe it's too small for you to see. I don't think I can increase it. No, cannot increase it. Maybe there is a way in the options, but see if I increase it. Appearance editor, Tahoma. Yeah, I think I can change it somehow, but I don't know. This thing is not clickable. It's not clickable in any way, left or right. But anyway, just believe me, okay? If you cannot see, just believe me. Hi, join. Hello. You have to make a new account. I don't know, but did you try just to log in with Google? I mean, did you have to create a channel to type in the chat, or is just that you create a Google account, or you have a Google account and you log in with a Google account and you can chat? Can you tell me that? Because yes, because I don't know. But anyway, I think there is a delay of about 30 seconds or so between the video and the chat. So potentially you answer to me like 30 seconds later, but it's fine. I mean, it's not a big issue. Ah, you see, not me. I just out went with the last active Google account I had up. Yes, I think if you just log in with Google, it should be possible to, if you have a Google account. Okay, not everyone has a Google account. I mean, I have it because to have this channel, you need to have one. But yeah, yeah. I think it's cool if you keep your ID. At least I know who you are. You know. I mean, it's cool for me to know who you are. I mean, some people were named weirdly. I think, well, they named with the real name, and so maybe it's not really easy for me to know. But okay, anyway, so we will have to check. We will have to check if the answers are here. If this character has that specific knowledge area, but I think we can check it later on. But you should remember to do it, otherwise she will not answer to anything. But now, yes, we have our interact UI. Now, now. The point is, that interact UI is okay, but it shows up. It shows up anytime, anywhere, which is not good. Which is not good at all. So the first thing I want to understand is why. The easiest way to do it. I think, is to take our character blueprint. Yeah. By the way, we have a kind of cool separation here between the objects. We have, I mean, for the one of you that are more kind of programmer guys. I don't think most of you are, but potentially in the future some will be. I don't know. We have how to say, where do I get it? I think if I get it from here is the simplest, right? If I get it from Subversion. Oh, I closed it. Not cool. Okay, let me open it again. I think I closed Subversion, but I needed it. Yes. Is when I changed the. When where did I do this? Ah, here it is. I think it's this line. I wanted exactly this line. I wanted to show you this line. So, yeah. So basically, let me just refresh it because I need this to move on. Basically today, we have yes, we have few objects. We have the standard Unreal Engine character, which is an object with basically is able to walk, is able to do few basic things. So this is the Unreal Engine character, and then we have a connection with we have a kind of a subclass of it. Yes, we have a subclass, which is our PlaneShift character, right? And it is still in C++. So these two things. So well, this one I don't know, but this one for sure is C++. Right? So this is C++ class. Then I have created an intermediate thing, an intermediate class, which actually is a blueprint. So it's something that you can manipulate from the editor of Unreal Engine. Okay, if you still follow me, but anyway. So it is a blueprint, what is called a blueprint in Unreal Engine, which is this PS char BP. Okay. The idea, and then the last one is our lady, our Dremorian lady, okay, or our Cran, or our whatever. So any of our characters, and this will be, yes, this will be say multiple. So you will have one for each race at the moment. They may be in the future will be different, but for now we have one for each race. So we have one here for the more female. Yes, we have one for each race and gender as well. So the more male and so, right? Our cran neutral and such. So what is the good thing of this organization? The good thing of this organization is that we can what we can do, we can add all our logic, okay, in here. So the idea is to have our logic, our game logic, well, not our game, our character logic here, okay. So here we have our kind of, well, logic maybe is not a good term, but it's to say, for example, if you want, like we're doing now, to interact with something else and pop up a menu, this is valid for all the races. I mean, I don't have to put it here inside my Dermorian thingy. I can put it in the blueprint, in this like archetype or template, and then it's valid for all the others. So it will be inherited by all the others, which is pretty good. So okay, see you, Emmeline. Thanks for joining. I think it was nice to having you here. So yeah, so here is where we have our interaction thingy. So we have like interact, right? Interact and like if a character will jump or something like this, we can put it here, our code, or if he has to switch, or if we have to switch the robe, right, the wizard robe with something else, or the plate, I think we can put it here. Now here what we have, well, here we have, maybe I will keep this schema, by the way. Here what we have is the basic data. So the basic attributes, of the character. So for example, here we have HP and mana and whatever else, right? Why they are not here? That's a very good question. Well, I think that they are not in the blueprint because historically we didn't have blueprints. So blueprints were not existing to us in the past, and so we have all our code inside a C++ class, right? We have all the code in a C++ class. Now, should we migrate some of it to the blueprint? I would say yes. How much we should migrate, I have no idea at the moment, but I think that like the basic characteristic could definitely go in the blueprint as well. I don't know if it's quicker if you do it in the blueprint or if it's slower, because the blueprint allows you to visually edit, but anyway, let's say this is just a bit to explain you, okay? And this, what we have here, what we have in the EU char, I mean, this is really the basic, I mean, like the fundamental of showing a character on screen, okay, which is provided to us by Unreal for free. So I can put a character in the game, is already able to walk, to run, to crouch, is already has some characteristic like speed and such. So all of that is already given to us. So what we are doing with the arrows, that you see here, is basically to specialize. Let's call it to specialize this into another class, and then up to the level where we are in the Dermorian thing. Hello, Siaio. Magere is a very important name. It's a very important name for the people that like fantasy books. So it's basically the daughter of the famous Magere, no, or not? I don't know. Yeah, still, well, it's worked on. Yeah, it's worked on. Yes, we kind of work it on. I mean, we will. I mean, until I'm alive, let's say. So for the next potentially 45 years or more, it will still be worked on. Okay, so it depends on the speed and whatever, but it's really something that I like. So it's something that I created and we created together with a lot of other guys, thanks to a lot of other people. We created, and so yeah, I still work it on. I still sometimes I get back to it, and I was showing the subversion log just to show a bit of the activity. And actually, yes, I did some in January, did some in November, did some in October, some in August. So it's yeah, I mean we do something, we do something, we do something. Plus, we are, let's say, maintaining the old version, which is still alive, but it's going down slowly. Number of players, it's slightly dying. Yes, I'm the main developer. My name is Luca. My name is Luca, and my name is Luca. And in game, you can find me as Talad, which is one of the major gods. No, it's not one of the major gods because in reality, the gods are the ones that are outside of Iliacum, but it's another story. But anyway, it's one of the minor gods that lives on that small planet, and yes, I'm the founder of this. I'm the inventor of this. The one that keeps it alive. But I have to say that a lot of other people, like Morden was here before, and Veneland was here before. I mean, they've been a tremendous asset to keep it alive. Right? So there is guys that, despite anything, they keep working on it. So I'm very happy about that. I'm very grateful to them. And so yes, now what we are doing, we are not working only in Paint, but we are working with Unreal Engine. So I don't know if you have seen it, but yes, we are trying to switch engine because our crystal space is extremely old, so it's impossible for us to use it anymore. I mean, in few years you will not even be able to compile anymore on the new machines, right? So we will not be able to release the game anymore. Or maybe yes, because they say the new machines are smarter than the past, so maybe they are backward compatible, but I think it would be extremely tough. So I don't want to arrive to that point, so I want to have a new engine before people cannot use PlaneShift anymore. Right? So that's definitely an objective. So I want to be able to move to a new engine. But the other thing is that this engine is so cool and it's so easy to use and it's so powerful that I mean we can do a lot with this. The only problem is learning it because it's not easy. I mean, it's on one side is easy, but on the other side is not very easy. So it's for what we have to do. I mean, if you have to create a small game like an arcade game that you kick a ball, the ball bounces a few times, gives you points what it hits. I mean, it's like I don't know, a few days of work. Right? So in a few days you can put up a small arcade game. You need a bit of the graphics, obviously, but super easy. You have to do an MMO. it's not it's not that easy. I can tell you, it's not that easy because you have all the crafting and combat and freaking everything and multiplayer and positioning of the object, interaction and artificial intelligence of the monster and expansion of the monster and the tribes, and freaking everything. So, yeah. So yeah. So it's not easy. But what we are trying to do here is to yeah, we're just explaining. If you just joined, but I was just explaining how our chain of classes works. And it works this way. So we are basically having a C++ class with the basic characteristic of the character, which is actually here. If I go to my PS character class, right, I can expand it. With this one I can zoom as much as I want to show you bigger, but the left side unfortunately I cannot. So the one will remain small on your screen. But our PS character class is here. It's called APS character and is already doing something in the sense that is basically a porting of the old code. And this thing is this one, the one that you see here under C++ PS character. And then we have a blueprint which is actually editable directly from the editor of Unreal, which is this PS character. Right? So now I was trying to add this interactive thing, and here, I mean, in our blueprint we have PS character blueprint, so it's this one, so it's valid for all our races. We have this piece of code, which is actually not code, but is blueprint of Unreal Engine, so you can drag things like this and program visually, which is super cool, by the way. I think you should learn it if you want to learn it. It's very, very nice. And at the beginning I was thinking, okay, this is just a kind of a marketing thing, you know, so they do it just because it's cool, but then no one will ever be able to use it because it will become too complex, and you will have graphs that are so big. Like if I zoom out, no, this one is not big, but I think I have something else that is start to be big. Maybe not in this class. No, I have things that are bigger than this. But at the end, yes, it can become big. I mean, it can become a bit of a maze, you know. But I think it's better than what I was thinking it was. So I think it's at the end is very usable. I mean, this programming, this visual programming, is actually working. I mean, it cannot work for anything. I mean, you cannot do all with this, otherwise it will really become hard to follow. But you can build the building blocks, you know, the main pieces with C++, and then you can call your functions directly from the visual thingy. Yeah, so it's very good. Overall, it's very good. Okay, let's go back to do something. Otherwise, we're just speaking tonight and not doing anything. Well, we want plane shift in Unreal Engine, right? It is what we want. Glad to see I'm not the only one who got some impact from PS. Yes, I got a lot of impact. If you are not alone, if you got a lot of impact from this game. But yes, there are a lot of people. There are people with thousands of hours. I don't know if you are one of them, but there are people that have thousands and thousands of hours. Up to the point that long time ago, I think it was in 2012 or so. Yeah, I was thinking to add a maximum time of gameplay per day. So I was thinking to limit the players to maximum 8 hours. You know, because I was thinking, fuck, someone is playing too much. Maybe he cannot do. Maybe he doesn't go to school to play, or maybe I don't know. Maybe he's not going out and meeting friends. I don't know. Maybe it's becoming an addiction for some of the people. So I was thinking maybe I have to fix it. I have to limit the game time to maximum 8 hours per day. But at the end, it didn't. It was not approved by the rest of the team, so we didn't do it. I don't know what you think about it. If you have an idea on that, but it was a kind of a weird thinking at the time. So, what should we do? Interaction. So we have to understand why. Where is my? I'm already lost, huh? In this thing. Where is my interaction trigger? Is in the construction script? I had it open 1 second ago. It's here. The event graph. Yes, because each of this thing that you see at the top is a function, which by the way you can see also here at the left. And there is the event graph, which is like the main. I don't know what is in at the end. I think I would like to have it at the beginning. Yeah, we'll move it at the beginning, like the viewport, at the event graph, and then the functions, where you have all your things. So the begin overlap and the end overlap are two functions provided by the engine to actually do exactly what we need. So what I would like to test is that we are not overlapping with ourselves, you know, because I have this feeling that we are overlapping with ourselves, and so the interact UI is always triggered, and so it's always shown on screen, which is what we are seeing now. So how to test for this? So at the moment we are getting the interaction, which is an overlap, and it says event call when something starts to overlap this component. For example, a player walking into a trigger for events when objects are blocking collision. For example, a player hitting a wall. So I think this potential is triggered also for the ground. I think we are interacting with the ground at the moment. Does the interaction go away if we jump? I think this would be a good test. If we jump and goes away, it means that we are interacting with the ground. because I was thinking it was interacting only with other characters, but actually I think it's the code at the moment is working also if we are interacting with the ground. What I'm doing here, launching the client again. Actually, maybe I can test it. Can I test it directly in the editor? I think I should. I think I can. If I go play here, but I think it will not load the character though. If I click play here, what happens? Apart from the sound of the fountain, which is always there. Let me mute it. Let me mute my sound for a second. Okay. I don't think I can play. I don't think I can. I don't have a character when I'm in the editor, so I can play it only when I'm in the. Okay. So let's do it. Let's do it outside the editor. Let's cancel. So we don't mess up. It is our client. Yes, it is. We log in. We go to the character page, we select any character, this guy, you see this interact UI, it is the thing that's good, interact UI, it is the thingy that I'm trying to trigger, so if I jump it goes away, so I'm interacting with the ground, that's why it's always on. That's why it's always on. I'm interacting with the ground. Okay. Because when I'm jumping, it's not unless the jump is giving amount of interaction. But I think is I think that's it. I think that's it. This is another character and she's interacting. We could do another test. We could move the character up and see if when she's flying, well, it's not interacting. Or we can just improve the code and you can right down here, instead of interactive UI, the thing that we are interacting with. Yeah. Can we do it? Can we do it? Let's see. Begin interact overlap. Okay, I'm interacting with something. There is another actor that I'm interacting with. No, but it is cast to PS character, so it cannot be the ground. Cannot be the ground. Other actor, what is it? Other actor is me, or is the one that I'm interacting with? Overlapped component, other component. I don't know if other actor is me. I have no idea. Cast to PS character blueprint object at this character. So we cast it to PS character and we add the interaction with self. Okay, self is me, is my PSK, so is the character that is actually interacting. So I'm adding this interaction between the target and me. So this one is not me. This other actor is not me. Can I type his name? Can I print out? If I print out from here, I don't know exactly where I am, but I think I'm on the client side, right? Yes, I think I'm on the client side. So if I print out, for example, the name of this thing, will it show up? So let's go also SPS character blueprint. Let's see if he has a get name or something. There is get path name, which could be good anyway. Get object name, which could be nice. Let's try get object name. You see how this is done? I don't know if this is cool to you, but to me it's insane. I mean, I want to add just just the print, you know, and what I do, I say, okay, get the object name, you know, which is this thing, get the object name of this character that I'm interacting with. I return a value which is a string and is purple for this reason, and I just print it on screen. And I can select if I want to print it on the log or print it on the screen. That's the only thing I have to do. Now I just have to compile, which is basically clicking this button and clicking on save. It says it fails to save, yes, because we have the server running, which is using this asset, and we have the client running, which is using this asset. So unfortunately, we have to stop the server because, as I told you at the beginning, the client and the server are using the same code. Okay, I mean, I'm not the best one to describe it because I'm not an expert of the engine, but are using the same assets. Say. And so since I use the same assets, okay. So what we have to do, we just have to close the server. We just ensure, yeah, this is the server. You can just kill it. It dies. It takes a bit to die. It died already. I can just do retry, and now it saved it, right? Let me try again. Save. Yes, and now it saved it. That is because our server was running, and and so it was using the assets. So now we can launch it again and see what happens. So let me launch the server again. Let me launch the client and see if we get a printout of the object that we are interacting with, because I want to know if it's myself, if it's the ground, if it's the other character, if some bugs of some kind. So let's check this. I launch the client. Have a good night. See ya. Thanks for stopping by. So we log in. We log in and we check. We're already colliding with something. Did you see? There was already a message. Oh, we are colliding already? Even in the character selection screen? Okay. Well, we don't care too much, I think. We should not, though. Maybe that was another printout. Yes. No, this is the printout of the character we are selecting. So, okay. So we go to play. Doesn't print shit. Why doesn't print anything? But the UI is up. Now it's printing stuff. Maybe I have the UI by default. Because now when I go closer to it, it prints something. It prints 2 times. So basically, she's interacting with me and I'm interacting with her. So because we are the same character. We are using the same code. This fan is using the same code of the other thing, right? So we are exactly the same at the engine. And so when I added to the blueprint interaction code, I added it to me and to her. I don't think she will interact with me. Well, potentially the because it could stop me, or she could run around in a certain point, just decide to spook with me, or to look at me. Yes, one thing I really want to do, and if possible, when you walk close to NPC, they look at you. It's so cool. Like Skyrim was doing it like it's so nice. I mean, it gives so much realism to the scene that you see in NPC. Maybe to you seems normal, right? You say, every game does it, well, you should not do it. Yeah, exactly, I should do it, but not something that we're able to do. So this UI is a bit weird though. I mean, it stays with me. Like, yeah, it's UI. I move closer. It disappears. So I think it's okay. But anyway, we proved at least that the proximity works. Okay, so when I'm in proximity of this character, if he's another character, so if it's another friendship character, being an NPC or another player, we actually trigger the thing. Every time I move, I don't know if it's visible, but every time I move, I get a blue message. So maybe when you are close, that's okay. But anyway, it detects that we can interact. Okay? Now the only problem that we have to understand is why this interaction is not showing up. Why? The question is why? I don't know. Okay, so we prove this, which is nice. So the thing that bothers me a bit is that this printout is not. It's not working at all. Let's try. Oh, anyway, it's not. I don't see any printouts unless there is server side. This interaction thingy. Component overlap interact trigger. I don't know if I'm on the client or on the server when I'm executing this piece of code. I have no idea. I'm assuming it's on the I'm assuming it's on both. Did it print out? So let's do another printout, which is just a kind of a hello world, you know, so that we know it's us. Because if we just print those random names, let's just print begin overlap triggered. Okay, I just print this thing, and then we can also print the other one. It's no problem. Okay, it's fine. I think it's fine. So let's compile. I cannot save because the server is up. You know this already. So I have to stop the server, and I have to restart it, unfortunately. Now I think there is a smarter way to do this. I think we could work completely inside the editor, but I don't know exactly how to do it, because if I go play here, I'm not getting what I want. It's a bit of a problem. But anyway, I think that for now we go a bit slower, but we go forward. Okay. So let's try again and understand why this thingy is not working. No, I launched the editor. I want to launch the client. I think I launched another editor. Crap. Yes. Okay. We will have 4 or 5 processes running. I can close it. Okay, it closed. I was not very happy about it. Now I launched the editor again. I think I closed the wrong one. Okay, so let's launch the client. Let's launch the client and see how it goes. It was a trigger, you saw it? It appeared for a second on screen. So I think we are overlapping already. Yeah, we are overlapping also here in the thingy, in the character creation. That is not what we want, though. It is not, but we can fix it later. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. At the moment, we just want to know. We just want to be sure that we trigger on the right objects. Then, if it's also in the character creation, we don't care, right? So we are here. We are here. Why? So here is not triggering. My printout is not triggering. Now it's triggering. Okay. So it works on proximity. So it works properly. It's just the UI that is but it's triggering properly. It's triggering properly. So it's actually going through this. It's actually printing being triggered, and it's actually printing the name of the object, which is the other object, right? Yes, which is the thing I'm interacting with. Okay. Good. Very good. So it means that this works. Now that we know that this works, I would like the interact UI to show up only when I press the interact button. So I think it's here. Input action interact. I don't remember. So I did it some time ago. So I'm not. I have to refresh my mind a bit on this. I don't know if this was the point, but I think it is. I think it is. When we interact, and by the way, you can define the interaction key in the project settings, so you have it there. When you interact, we launch this program here, and here we just say interacted, is saying, so we just say this. Okay, would be nice. If from this point down our UI shows up. I don't know why our UI shows anyway, anytime, always. So why? So let's check where we call our interaction UI. Where is it? So the set best interaction and get better interaction at the moment we don't care about it. What we care is is our interact UI always on? I think it's always on at the moment. I have this feeling. I have this very strong feeling. I think it's just always on. How do I say if this thing is not visible? I want it not visible as a default. Well, I can hide this one, I guess. Visibility visible, behavior visibility. Here I don't have it though. I don't have it on the wall thing. I only have it on this interact UI. Should I set it to invisible here and see? I think if I set it to invisible, to hidden, so hidden is not visible but occupies layout space, not interactive for obvious reason. Hit test invisible, visible to the user but only as art. Self hit test invisible, symmetry is visible, doesn't apply to child widgets, and collapsed, not visible and takes no space. Not visible and takes up no space in the layout, can never be clicked. Yeah. If any of you joined recently to the stream, welcome first of all, and second, if you want to type something in the chat, you can do it. If you cannot type in the chat, is because you are not logged in Google or in YouTube or in some other ways, right? So if you want to chat, if you want to write down the line or something, I think you need somehow to create a Google account. Let me see if there is a way to allow guests, but I don't think so. But let me try to Google and search if I can allow. So YouTube live allow guest chat. Let's see if it's possible. Enable viewers to view live chat during live event. Auto stream. Super chat live streaming. Auto broadcast. Blah 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 blah. I'm watching another monitor by the way while I'm browsing, so you don't see it. But allow new chat feature. Follow on testing. Unleash the power of streaming. I don't know. If any of you can find it out, that would be helpful. So maybe also without being logged on, you could chat, which to me will be best because I don't expect a lot of spam into this, at least not at the beginning. Maybe as we go through, there will be more, but I think I found it. It says can viewers chat without a live stream account, but I think it's not. No, this is not Google thing. There's another. No, it's another one, but chat without account. I'm just searching if it's possible. If you have an answer, please tell me. If you find it, if you found it. Live now, stream options store, trending. I cannot find it. Maybe it's mandatory. Maybe there is no way. You have to create an account. Sorry for that. I mean, if it's the only way, yeah, I don't know what to do. But anyway, so what we were saying is if I should set is invisible. Okay, if I set is invisible, it's fine. The point is, should I make the wall UI invisible or should I just make this thing invisible? Actually, I would like to make the wall UI invisible, right? But just for the sake of a test, let's try to make this one invisible. How can I make... let me try to do something here. So if I want to get a widget, which is my widget, if I want to get add widget component, get new component assign ownership reactor is called for. No. We already have the widget set up, actually, which is my interact window. And I want to be sure that I have I don't know how to do it, guys. I don't know how to do it, but for now let's make it invisible and see if it goes away. I think it's a good test, just as a I mean, for sure it will go away, I think, but let's because then I will have to enable it when I click on E, you know. And the thing I'm not sure how to do now is how to get the widget reference. That is the point that I'm missing the freaking widget reference. So how can I do that? How can I do that? I see someone join now. Welcome to the stream. I'm just trying to mess up with this Unreal Engine stuff and see how it goes. Okay, let's try to save it as it is, okay, and see if the UI goes away, which I think it does. But just as a test, let's stop our server. Yes, that is. Wait, I have to stop the server. This server I have to stop. Okay, I think he went down. Let me see if I can save. No, still. Why still busy? I stopped the server. I have one Unreal Editor running, and I have another Unreal Editor running. That's not good. One of the two. Which one is which? I don't know which one is which. One is the good one and one is not the good one. Okay. This one cannot save. Okay. Wait a second. I think I have two editors running. Let me see. I have two editors running? Do I? Do I have two editors running at the moment? Let me check. Launcher, we have AU edit. Yes, we have two editors running at the moment. Okay. One is this and one is this. One is this and one is this. Okay, we can redo it anyway. We close one randomly and we see if it's the right one. Okay, I think I got the right one. Nice. Pretty good. Okay. Let's see if it saves now. Okay, it saves now. Nice. Okay, we can save this, compile, save, compile. We can now that it's saved, we can relaunch the server and see how it goes. Okay. So we launch the server again. We launch the server again, and yeah, the server is starting up. We launch the client as well. I've seen there is a bit of a mis-synchronization. I don't know how to say. It's not synchronizing very well. If you launch the client before the server, it kind of mess up a bit because like it doesn't have enough time to load, and so sometimes it's not logging in properly. But at the moment it seems okay. Just a second, I'm taking something to drink. Okay. So let me see if now the interact UI is not visible. I think it's not visible because I mean there's no way it's visible. Yeah, exactly. It's not visible. Okay. So what do you want to do now? You want that when we interact with page. That's another problem with pixel. So when we click the E key, I'm pressing E, I'm interacting with her. So when I'm interacting with her, I want to show up my interact UI. When I'm close to her, I want to show that I can interact. Right? And then the player, if he wants, he will press E to interact. Right? Make sense? Makes sense, my friends? No one is typing in the chat, but I know you are there. Just because you are lazy to create a Google account, huh? That's why. You should create a Google account, at least you can chat with me. Do it. Do it. Don't be lazy. Okay. Anyway. So as soon as the trigger is started, I want to show my UI, which now is invisible. Now the big issue we have is that I have no idea how to show the UI, so we have to learn it right now. I can stop the server, I don't need the server up. So we need to learn how to show a piece of the UI, basically to make this one visible. So I base this whole thing on a tutorial. So now I'm going back to that tutorial and I'm checking how they do it. Let me see if I can show you the tutorial without can I do this? Probably not. I'm sorry, probably not. But anyway, can I pop up this window? No. Okay, anyway. I'm just checking quickly the tutorial that I was following to see where it says that I can
to go one way or the other. So this works
that I can
And if it
enable
is
my
valid
audio.
or not valid,
You will hear a guy speaking probably. It is the guy from the YouTube video that I'm checking now.
Now the next thing we want to do, if it is valid, if we are passing something, we want to update it. We need to make sure that this new interaction we have here is not the same.
So it's basically working on this interaction, on this
if
part
we're currently
here.
looking at it and we're still looking after this updates again, it'll get the same one because it's the best one.
I want to search for
up to variable. And this is going to be our variable that
interaction.
All we need to do is just, and we're going to move
it has something.
Selected
Once we set
this,
I'm searching through the video to see if I find the point
valid
where
if there's nothing selected already. We can go
where is enabling the visibility
grab everything
of the UI.
Both the get interaction that we can do.
Input action
this
interact.
Is where we drag out and say interact.
This could be the point.
Now for the character that we have down here, we just want to reference ourselves. And this self-reference will be the
I still working. This part of the tutorial is still working on.
And now we can make sure that we're only really looking. We can right-click on it, say convert to validated. This just makes sure that we actually have
input action interact. So what do I have here? I have my
selection
add interaction, which adds the interaction.
And this is where we drag out and say interact.
Then I have the remove interaction, which is fine. Then I have the interact, which happens when I'm pressing E, which I don't care at the moment. So this one I can close. I don't care at all. I'm before that. Then I have my events here where I have the begin overlap. Yeah, exactly. It should be here though. I mean, it should be. When I have the begin overlap, my UI should show. So it's actually exactly here. Okay. Let me check this part. So it's building the interaction now. Should update interactions. Let me see if I can show it to you somehow, okay? Just a second. Okay, let me do this. I think I can. Wait a second, I'm doing something, but I will be with you in 1 second. Okay, I think it is fine. It's just checking a few things. So yes, I followed basically an example.
Hi everyone, welcome back to part 3 of the interaction tutorial.
Which is this one, right? Which is this one you see here, which is an interaction tutorial that does basically what we need. I mean, not exactly, but does basically what we need. Hey, Ujada, how are you? So this one does basically what we need. So what I'm trying to figure out if this guy is telling
today we're going to be going over the interaction characters.
If this guy is telling me how to enable and disable the UI, so that's what we need at this point. I don't remember, this tutorial was made in 3 parts. I don't remember if the parts that I need is at the beginning, at the end, where it is. Touch input, only touch jump. This is explaining a bit of the beginning. Explaining the beginning. You see, they have it as an interaction. Yes, the event tick. So basically, the event tick is whenever whenever the game runs, he updates the possible interactions, and based on the possible interactions is doing some stuff. The only thing that I don't remember, yes, here he updates the interactions. Okay, it touch is a touch input. All the update interaction we have already, so we don't need. We don't need should update. This one also we have already. Should update interaction. All of this we have. It would be nice if you could search on the comments of YouTube video. Can you search it? Can you search? Wow, I think you can search. Never tried. If I search visible, no, you cannot search. That would have been too cool. To search on the comments. Is there a way to? Is there a way to get the whole text of a YouTube video somehow? And oh yeah, it's here. Oh, fine, exactly what I needed. So that is everything that he says in the video. I want to search for visible. Wow, this is so cool. I learned a new thing now. What is the function of our class we made before? We are going to set it to invisible, so false. Here now we have our standard we control drag it up. New interaction we are setting our selected and this is not valid. We are not select. Exactly. So here is setting to invisible something. I think it's exactly what we need. So it's setting to invisible. I think the UI. Let me see. Is 23 minutes and 31. 23 minutes. Please, now that we found the place, show it to me. Toggle UI. Wait. This is exactly what we need. Ah, yes, this part I think I skipped because I think I wanted to do it differently. Now I remember. Okay. I wanted to do it differently somehow, but it probably was not a good idea. Let me check where this is attached. So we are inside set best interaction. So let's go and check our set best interaction because I have it for sure somewhere. Add interaction, set best interaction. I have toggle visibility. Okay. Now I remember. So we have a chance. My friend. So basically, what I was doing here was because he does it slightly differently. So what he does, is that he calls a function which is called toggle UI, which is doing the job but is making the graph even more complex. And so I said, why not? I just put the token visibility here, and that's it. Right? So this is what I did. So first thing first, we have to understand if this set best interaction is actually properly called. Let's assume yes. So if yes, we have to select the best interaction. So there's all this logic. There is all this logic that basically selecting the character nearest to you, because you may have multiple things on screen. You can have an NPC, an object, and something else. And so basically what this thing is trying to understand is which is the closest or the most, the best, kind of the best interaction that you have on screen. So this is why there is all this code, but it's only done for this. So it's only done for this. So what we have to do, when do I call this best interaction thingy? I should be able to find references, right? No? It's empty. Unrecognized tab. What does unrecognized tab means? What does it mean? Again, file to save. Okay. I should stop my server again. That's fine. Can stop it. Okay, saved. Maybe it was not saved, so I couldn't find reference, because find reference should find in the code where this is called, right? Which is what I need at the moment. Set best interaction. There is the function itself. Find references. Come on, why is saying unrecognized tab? Why is saying this? I don't know. Maybe it's a bug of the editor. I don't know. I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But anyway, let's search it. It's not too many screens, so we can search it. Set best interaction. Set best interaction is not here. Here it is. Set best interaction. Okay. Let me see if I find references here. It doesn't work. It is find references. No. Updating. So at every tick, basically every time the game runs, we do update every second. Let's say every millisecond, we do update interactions. Update interactions is here, and it's basically checking if we should update interaction or not. And there is the should update, which is updated another place of the code, which asks if first things that he has to do, if we should update is true, then he gets the best interaction. If it's false, he sets the best interaction. Okay, so that is what it does. So, and then he goes here. I don't know if I should have a target self. No, it's PlaneShift character BP, so I think it's fine. So he goes inside of this. And yeah, first I want to be sure that he's going through this. I mean, because if he is not going through this, I'm not going to debug this thing. So let's see if he goes through this. Okay, let's see if he goes through this. For sure he goes through the tick. For sure he goes through the update. Where do we set the should update? Should update should be a local variable. Why we don't have a local variable should update? Where is he getting this variable from? I think we are missing a variable here, because this thing should update interaction. Ah no, it's the result of this function. Okay, sorry. So there is this function, and this function has a result. So it's basically taking the interaction list, so all the items that we can interact with, is search the length of that. You see if this length is greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, it checks if we are falling. This is why we were jumping, we were not interacting. Okay, so if you are jumping or falling, you're not interacting, but it's fine. Okay, who cares? And if you are not falling, it returns true. So basically, in all cases, this function here is return. Except you are jumping, it returns true, right? It returns true, which is pretty cool. So for sure it goes here. Yeah, this is our problem though, because if this is always true, I don't understand this code. So if it's always true, we never go to set best interaction. It always goes to the best to get best interaction, unless this one is called from inside of this, which could be. It is. Okay, now it's better. Okay, now I understand it a bit better. So basically, the get set best interaction is also calling the other one, which should toggle the visibility of our UI. Okay. So it comes here. It checks the interaction list. For each of the interaction list, it goes through a loop. This thing is a loop. It loops on each of the targets, and when it's completed, based on all the elements he found, yes, it checks what it checks. It checks max float of array, index of max value, interact threshold. Ah yes, there was this thing. Yeah. Here what it's doing is checking that the object they were interacting with is in front of us. Or well, is in front of the camera. Not is in front of us, is in front of the camera, because at the moment we are working with the camera object, which is the basically the view, the 3D view, right? With the 3D view. So yes, so what it does here, it checks if the object is in view. If it's in view, if he's in view and he goes up to a certain threshold, and this threshold is set somewhere, there is a default value which is 0.8. Okay, if it's yeah, so I mean this is a value we can tweak, but anyway, is a value that decides which objects are triggered. Well, which object will trigger this code or not. So it goes through this. If he's in the threshold, then it's true, and if it's true, it sets the best interaction to be the max value of our array of interaction list. Okay. So basically it picks the best one, let's say. Okay. So what it does, it picks the best interaction. The only thing I would like to know if this thing is actually getting freaking updated or not, because set if it's false, it clears it out, right? So I really want to know if here we are triggering something or not. So let's print this out. We say setting best interaction. Okay, I want to know if this thing is triggering properly, and if it's triggering properly, then we will debug the rest, right? But I want to know if we at least trigger this at the right time, which I think we do, but I just want to be sure, because I sometimes I'm not working on this piece, and so I don't remember all the nuances, you know. Okay. It seems that we are triggering setting best interaction a lot. Even just by launching the server, there is an issue though. I mean, there is a real issue. I mean, we are not in game. Yeah, I think we have to filter for players only. Otherwise, it's a mess. Because at the moment, what is happening is that the server loaded the characters, the NPCs. There is that Darmonian lady stuck into the ground, which is continuously looking around for people to interact with. Okay. Which I don't know if it bothers us, but anyway, I think it's not needed at the moment. But even with no players connected, she's continuously looking around and continuously searching for interaction thingies. You see that this setting best interaction is triggered all the time. It's triggered all the time continuously. Then maybe we can make a timer. You know, you can instead of doing it continuously, we can do it every, I don't know, half a second. I think would be enough, you know, so to ensure that the interaction is quick enough, but at the same time is not destroying our performances on the server. So basically this one works. It's setting the best interaction, is going through this. At this point, it checks if this interaction is valid, which I guess it's fine. I still want to know what the hell she's interacting with. What else she's interacting with? She has no characters around her at the moment, so why this is even triggered if it's not a character. But anyway, we will find out. Then what it's doing is checking if the new interaction is different from the selected interaction. I think we don't have any selected at the moment, so this will be empty, so it will be automatically different, so this will be true for sure. So he gets here and he checks if the selected interaction is valid. I assume for a second that it's valid. If it's valid, it toggles the visibility of our UI. Okay. The fact he's trying to do this on the server bothers me a bit, but because on the server we have no UI. But anyway, we will figure that out. But at the moment, he's triggering this, and is in theory here. This is the point where we toggle the visibility of our UI. Right? On or off. On or off. If it's not valid, we take our new interaction, we put in the selected interaction, and we toggle the visibility of this object. This new interaction is basically a reference to a PS character blueprint. Right? Okay, so let's do a bit more than this print. I think this print is fine because we know that we are setting the interaction, but I would like to know which is the character we are interacting with. Right? So I will skip this. I will not do it here, but I will do it here. And I would like to know at this point if someone is still connected to the stream. I mean, congratulations for the resistance, because this is getting maybe a bit boring on your side. But yeah, but anyway, this is how it is. I mean, when you are trying to program things, not everything things are fun or visual or working. So you have to work your way through it. I still see 6 people watching, so I assume someone is there. So what? So I would like to know, yeah, in both cases, I would say, if we trigger it on or off, I would like to print something and know what is happening. And in particular, I would like to know what this thing is interacting with. I want to concatenate. Is there a concatenate? I think there is, no? Do I add 2 strings? Append. Do I append the string? Do I concatenate the string? I append the string. Okay. I think we can have setting best interaction, which is fine. Come on. Why cannot paste it? Holy shit! He copied the pin. Okay, it's fine. Select best interaction. Select best interaction, and here we can connect it to the name of the target that we have selected, which is a PS character. So we can take the name of this thing. The get object name, I think, is fine. So if we do get object name of this thing, and we connect it to B, and then this thing we connect it to print, I think it's fine. If we do the same on this other side with this target, and we do exactly the same, we append this. Sorry, no, I cannot do this. I have to duplicate this one. So if I append this to this and then return the value here, okay. We print out the 2 things. Okay, so we will be able to see what the hell is going on I hope a bit better than now. So I compile, I save. Compile please. Yes, save please. Okay. Hey boys, anyone alive? Anyone still alive? I think someone is alive. I think someone is there. I sense it. I sense someone is still there. Okay, so we launched this thing. We now launch the server again, and I want to see if it prints out what we are interacting with, which would be pretty cool to see. Okay, it's going on, They're still there, huh? Still there. Learning how to create an MMO one click at a time. One click at a time. Man, before he was spamming things, now he's not spamming anymore. Why before he was spamming like a million select interaction, now he's not spamming. Now he did it only once. Select best interaction. Okay. She's interacting with herself anyway. So you see, there is the current one, and there is the let's launch the client and see when we move what we are interacting with. Let's see. Let's see. Guest. Best security password. Yeah, create a channel or maybe just Google account. Because Emmeline was saying that she didn't create a channel, she just selected Google account she she already had. But anyway. Yes, you can have your own channel even YouTube, which is pretty cool. Okay. So let's go through this. So I click on play. I'm interacting with myself. The cran is you see the cran character. Select this interaction cran character. Cran character. Select this interaction cran character. It's not working this way. It's not good. It's not. I don't want to interact with the same hero. Oh my god, the sound of. Holy! Why? Sorry, I muted my sound, otherwise you will hear this thing forever. Why the best interaction always myself? Very good. Wait a second. Let's do it properly so we see the target and the source and everything, so we don't get confused. We are more happy. So, who am I? That's the question. Self. I think we have to take self, which is basically get a reference to self, okay, which, considering I'm inside a PS character blueprint, will be that character, so the character is interacting. I want to print out the freaking name of the whoever is interacting and the target, because now I'm getting confused. It seems that I'm getting confused really. So let's do this. Select best interaction, and then we add. So we append this to. No, let's do this. Let's do this, which is nicer. Can I add a new thingy? Oh, nice. I can add. Ooh, I can have 3. Wow, so cool. I can have 3. It's exactly what I need. So I want to have interaction of this thing with this other thing. I don't want it here. I want it clear this, please. Clear. No. Clear it. I want to have it here. I want to have it here. Marine created a. But it's so stupid. Though. Can you Google? Can you Google how to do it without? Because it seems it seems overkill. You know. So you open a live stream. Um, and you want people to randomly chat with you even if they don't have an account. Maybe it must be enabled when I live in my live stream options. Let me check for a second. Okay, maybe there is an option to do it because it's so stupid that you have to do that. So let me go there. Okay, live streaming. I'm checking my channel thingy. Live streaming. Is there a configuration, advanced configuration? Okay, information, live stream, category, privacy is public. Okay, there's not. Then there is advanced options. And advanced options, chat, live chat. Yes, enable. Block the spam messages. Yes, okay. YouTube license, Creative Commons. I have no idea if the license is okay. Subtitles, promotions, category, language, registration. Registration, blah blah blah, DVR, optimization. I don't know. Is it just says enable chat, but it's not doing it. It's not doing it. I don't see anything in the options. I don't see anything in the options that are enabling like anonymous chat or whatever chat. I don't see any of this. It's very annoying though. I can go to the frequently asked questions and see if there is anything under chat. How to manage the chat. Principal message, live chat. You have to click on the area. I have no idea. I mean, in all the things, it never tells you. It never tells you if is for everyone or not. It never tells you. I mean, I don't know. Maybe assumes you have to be logged in, but it's so bad that you have to be logged in. It's so bad. It's so bad. I may change it to Twitch. I mean, on Twitch you can. I think on Twitch you can. Can you? I don't know. If you can. If you can speak, even if you are not. Let me do one thing. I can log in with another browser and I can check. Okay, so let's say that I log in here. I go to PlaneShiftOfficial. PlaneShiftOfficial, YouTube, yes, blah blah blah. Live, I say slash live. Sorry, I'm on another screen, so I not see it. So okay, I'm not logged in at the moment. If I click on access to chat, he asks me to log in into YouTube. Okay. So other options, no way. No. It's login only. This thing is login only. You have to be logged in. There's no way. There's no way. You have to be logged in, I think. Such a pity. Such a pity. That's okay. Yeah, I think you have to be logged in. I'm sorry. So, yeah. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. So what we are saying here is they wanted to see who am I and who I'm interacting with. So who is the character? So the source and the target. Okay, the source and the target. So the target is this one. The source is myself. So I want a self, get object name, and I want to return the value as a string, to put it here, to put it here, to put it here, and to put it here, right? At least it looks cool. What do you think? I don't know if it works, but all these purple lines are pretty cool. I think they're pretty cool. Okay, so we save it, we compile it, and we run the server. Okay, we run the server again. So now it should tell us who is interacting with who and why, because I think there is still some problem in the logic of the thingy, and so it's not working as expected. Even if the factor is interacting on the server side, is you see Dermorian, you see Dermorian F interacting with Dermorian F. I mean, come on. Come on. This is not what we want. This is not what we want. We want. Okay, let's see. Maybe. Yeah. Let's try in game now, because now we have source and target. So freak. Now we should get it right. Okay, I have this character. He's interacting with himself. 100%. Look at this. Crank character interaction, crank character. Thank you. This is not what I want. Okay, let's see if I go here. Boom. Crank character. He's interacting with herself all the time. He's interacting with himself. Fuck. No, that is not what we want, guys. It is not what we want. Cool, but not what we want. Crank character C1. It's exactly like this. Okay. So, or there is a small bug in the thingy, in the logic that I placed, or I just swap the two variables. Or maybe, let me check. I think we can fix this. We can fix this. Let me just be sure that I'm not messing up. Huh? Selected interaction, right? So new interaction, selected interaction should be empty, by the way. At the beginning, I didn't select anything. And this target is a bit weird to me. What is this connection that I made? Select. Wait a second. No, I'm getting self. and selected interaction. So, man, cannot be wrong. I mean, it cannot be wrong. It is correct. Cannot be. I mean, it's correct. I mean, my printout is correct. What I'm saying, right? My printout is correct. The fact that we are getting. So let me go back a second. Set best interaction. We get the interaction that we have in, which may be empty. Maybe empty. We get we set the new interaction to be equal to the interaction that we get, right? We check if it's valid. If it's not valid, we get the selected interaction. What if the selected interaction is also not valid? If everything is invalid, which is probably at the beginning, I have this feeling I'm interacting. I mean, the thing is interacting with itself all the time. So let me just check the 3D for a second. So we have, there is the capsule of the character, right? This thing, this big thing around it, is the interaction trigger. So, I mean, obviously, the capsule of the character is inside the trigger. So, I mean, there is no way I can paint it differently, you know. So it's obviously, but it should exclude self. It should exclude self all the time. The only thing that makes me think is that when I go close to the Dermorian, he actually triggers much more stuff. So it seems that it's working in the sense that there I interact with more people. You know, I interact with more. I interact more, but hmm. Yes, because one thing, but at the beginning, I mean, the point is that at the beginning it should not interact with anything, while for some reason it's interacting with stuff. You're saying you found this, you need to create a YouTube channel to upload videos, comment, or make playlists. I'll do a make playlist without channel. Yeah. So also to add comments, you have to make a channel. I mean, you can make a channel in 2 clicks. It's just what's the point, you know? You are a person, and then you also have a channel. But as a person, you should be able to chat. But I don't know. So okay, wait a second. So basically here, where we are, this is running every millisecond, right? It's running all the time. It's checking this interaction thingies. It's checking this interaction thingies, and first thing that it does is to check if it should update the interaction or not. Now, if it's empty, it should do freaking nothing. But we said that this node is just checking if we are in the right threshold. Okay. If it's greater than 0, is automatically. If it's below 0, is automatically false. So at the beginning is false. So this should update interaction should never be run at the beginning, right? Because it's our list is empty. Let me just recall how the hell we populate this interaction list, because I don't remember. Finding references would be so nice, but it's not working. The interaction list. Where do we populate the interaction list? I think we have an add interaction and remove interaction. Yes, exactly. In this add interaction is called, when did this called? The add interaction is called the add interaction. I think it's called on set best interaction for sure. Is inside of this thing, right? Tell me it is. It's not? Okay. that is inside this thingy. I mean, where do we add items to this list? Where is this add interaction called? Do you see add interaction anywhere? Not here, not here, not here, not here, not here, not here, not here. Sorry, all of this mess is just my printout. Okay, so maybe what we can do just to clean it up a bit, I can move. Oops, I can move all of this. To the right and just yeah, and just box it, make a comment. This is just print to interaction objects. Okay, but it is actually not part of the code, so this is just a stupid printout. Okay, so we don't care about that. Don't care about that. Let me just check at which time I have to wake up tomorrow, because it's starting to be a bit late, even if I'm enjoying this. But okay. I want to solve this. I want to solve this and understand it better. So Cerberus interaction, new interaction, so we said that what I was searching for is this add interaction. So when he adds a new one, why I cannot search? Why this find result is broken? Is empty? Why this thing is empty? I want to know why. I need this. I need this to work. It'll be much easier if it works. Anyway, I'm searching add interaction. Okay, add interaction anywhere in this schemas. It's not here. It's not here. It's not here. Is not here. Is not here. We are never adding interactions, basically. Why we're never adding interactions? There is some bug in the logic here. There is some problem in the logic that is in place, because this thing, which is the only thing that adds elements, is not actually working as expected. This thing is doing nothing, or is not working as we want. It's not working as we want. Why? The question is why? But add interaction here is actually, you know what? I think what happens is that it adds itself first, and then when we are going closer to the lady, he selects the best interaction, and the best interaction is always himself, right? And so this is where he mess up. So we should exclude ourselves from the interaction list, absolutely. Otherwise, we're fucking up. But why this is not done already? I know why. Because the example that I took was actually having two separate objects for the character and for the item we were interacting with. And so having two separate objects, it didn't have this problem. Okay, so it's actually pretty simple. So what we have to do, so if that reasoning is correct, the only issue is that when we add the interaction, we add ourselves first, and then that gets selected as the best interaction. So what we have to do, we have to exclude ourselves. So to check if we are interacting with ourselves, in that case we just exclude that object. The point is, where is the best place to do this check? Where is the best place to do this check? So it starts from event tick, it goes to update interactions. Inside update interaction, we said it just check for the threshold and the shitty things. Okay, so it's not doing much, but it's checking just that it makes sense to do it. Maybe we could do it here. Maybe we could do it inside this thing. Do we have the target already? We have the interaction list. No, at this point would be empty. No, it's not here. I mean, here we cannot do it yet. We check if we should update or not. We go to the set best interaction, or we go to the get best interaction. In the get best, we set this thing in here, we go for the selected one. Yes, I would like to ensure that our interaction list is not messed up. This is what I want to ensure. Why this set is empty, by the way? Yes, because this is the case where we have to clear it out. Yes. So this is, sorry, I will just type a comment. This is a clear selected interaction. Okay, that is what this piece does. It is correct. It's what it should do. It's exactly what it should do. What I'm struggling to see is where we add new elements. New interaction, set selected. Okay, so that is where we set it. Now I'm a bit annoyed by the fact that I cannot find this add. Why I cannot search? This is so annoying. Edit, search. Why this panel is empty? Unrecognized. Let me search the internet for a second to see why this find the results is unrecognized tab. What the fuck is this? Why is this? Why is this? It was working before, so maybe it's just because I launched it in I launched it through the compiled code. It's strange though. I don't understand why. I found the add interaction anyway. Here it is. Here it is. So it is where Here is where he adds the new interaction. It is where he adds the new interaction. Target. So he's taking this on overlap, cast a current blueprint, boom. Okay, so here we have to ensure is not ourselves, right? Because otherwise is a mess. Why there is a self here pointing to this? Why I have this thing here? Why I have this self? Yes, because self means this. No, but it is exactly what I should not do. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, I think the problem comes from there. So, because the example that I followed was slightly different and is messing me up on this point. So basically, when we begin the overlap with everything, which in our case is probably even ourselves, let's type it. Let's type it. It's pretty easy. We can just print out what we are overlapping with. It's pretty simple to do it. Yeah, so we overlap with ourselves at the beginning. We have seen it already. We've seen it already. So we should just ensure that if the character is self, I mean, if the target and the source are the same object, we exclude it. Right? So if other actor is equal to self, then we should exclude it. Just to be sure that I'm saying something meaningful, let me go back and take the piece and take this piece, which is very nice, which is this one. No, I will not do this. Yes, I can copy. I can copy and put it here and put it here temporarily. Okay, let's put it up here. This will be just temporary printout. I can then remove it. What I want to do is I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. I just want to know if my character is equal to self. Yes, exactly. You have to do it differently, otherwise I will get confused. Let's call it begin overlap. Okay, begin overlap with the two arrows. So we don't have anything else in the code like this, so we can. Okay, the server is up. Okay, go down, my friend. You guys still alive? Someone is still listening? Is someone still listening? I think you are, but you cannot type, huh? Because you don't want to create this freaking. You don't want to create this account, huh? It says 6 viewers, so 6 viewers. I tested it a bit. It seems to be correct. So if you say 6 viewers, there are probably 6 viewers, which is fun. Okay. Let me retry to save. Okay, I cannot save. Save it again. Compile. I disconnected these two things just now, which is not a good idea. And I have to connect this. Do I want to do it before or after? I want to do it before, not after. And this one should be removed. Okay. I want to do it before calling add interaction. Okay. And then we will remove all this mess. Just a temporary printout. Don't be afraid. We will survive. So I think that now, even in the server, we should see the fact that the Dermorian lady, which is the only one that is online before we connect, is trying to interact. Yes. You see? It's getting added already. Dermorian character, begin overlap, Dermorian character, add interaction. Yeah, so just from the fact that she that she exists, that she get added to the server, she's already adding a preferred interaction, um, to herself. Okay, which is not what we want, right? Which is not what we want. So, okay, this proves that the theory is correct. So it's pretty simple. It's very simple. If these two objects are the same object, I want to do nothing, exactly nothing. So how do I compare two objects? I think it should be pretty simple. It should be equal. Equal of what? Equal of objects. Is there equal objects? No, there should be. Vector, transform, time span, rotation, integer, float, datetime, byte, math, yield, blah 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 blah. How do I compare if one PS character class is this? Well, I can compare the name, but it's a bit lame, I would say, to compare the name, because they may be multiple in the game with the same asset. I want to know if it's exactly the same. Well, can I say self equal to, why there is not object? Ah, there is equal object. Okay, exactly what I needed. Why was it not showing up before? Okay, so if this object is equal to self, right? This object is equal to self. You're still here, huh? You're still here. You. This guy said you. Show the new people the deafening fountain. Yeah, the fountain is very cool. We will show them in a second. It's like Niagara Falls, you know? It's like the biggest waterfall of the world just in one fountain. That's because it's magical. That's the reason, because it's magical. That's why. That's why. Okay. What I was doing? Ah, yes. We were comparing these two objects, so we just check if self is different, is equal, or is different. If it's equal, we just branch into nothingness. We just branch into nothingness. So if it's equal, we do nothing. If it's false, then we do something. You will see that now. Life will be much better. Let's go like this. So I go to the branch, I do the check, I do the printout only. Sorry, when I do the printout, I do the printout only if it's false. Why not? True should be empty. Don't touch true. If it's false, we print out and we add the interaction. Right? Let's go. Okay. Chances of success. We should not see the message when I start the server. So when I start the server, I should not see the freaking printout. If I see it, we messed up. Chances of success. I want to know the percentages from you. Percentage? 100%, no? 50%. I don't know, let's see. I can launch it. And then in a few minutes you will because the chat is delayed. Okay. It's loading up. Boom, 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 boom. Track. I don't see the message, my friend. I don't see it. So it seems that it's correct. Okay, if it's correct, we can try to log in with the client and see that finally, when I'm close to the Dermorian, I will I will trigger a new interaction, and finally the interaction that is the best interaction will be the one between two different characters, which is what we want. This is exactly what we want. No interactions up to now. Pretty good. Pretty good. Go to meet the lady. Go to meet the lady. Let's see. Not approaching. Not approaching, and boom. Oh, finally, boys, we made it. Kran is overlapping with Dermorian. Dermorian is overlapping with Kran. Add interaction. Finally. Okay. This was very good. This was very good. So I think we solved 110%. Yes, exactly. In fact, it worked perfectly. Perfect. It took us a bit of time to figure out, but let me say there is also a bit of time that I don't work on this anymore, and in particular in that piece. So I had to refresh myself on how it was working, you know. So this is very good. So means that we can now trigger something when one character is next to the other, which is exactly what we want. Now, what I would like to do is to at least show the UI, right? At least show the UI, which actually was already toggling. So let's see if now I put it back to what it was, because there was that problem, right? The problem, it was always triggering on self on the same character, and so I made it invisible. But I think if I now make it visible, and I stop the server client and everything, I think it will work okay. Compile, save, launch the server, launch the client. Now the question is, what do we want to pop up in that thingy? We want to pop up the old PlaneShift UI? Maybe yes. Or do we want to do it differently? It's a good question. It's a very good question. Okay, no UI at the moment. Everything seems fine. We're just walking around Hitler, just checking around. We go here, we look at the fountain. Nice fountain. We go here, we find the lady. Boom! Interact UI. Look at this, it works perfect. Okay. She has an interact UI as well, you see, because as I told you, she's like us. So the same code that runs inside my stone head runs inside her head. The same code. So yeah, see, these two guys like each other. Hey, you want to interact with me? Hey, you want to pretty good. If I go away, whoop, it disappears. Nice. Perfect. Exactly what we want. That's pretty good. Now, we can say if he's an NPC, if he's an NPC, don't pop up interaction. It's not that we are clicking on her UI to interact with us, that would be a bit silly. So we don't want this pop-up to come up. But I think we did a good policy. Now now we may want to do a few things. So yeah, we can hide this thing. It is an NPC. The other thing we may at least print out. Let's do this. Let's print out the name. By the way, you see that if I look at her, the interact UI is shown. If I look the other side, it disappears. You see? So she sees me, and the interact UI is up. But I don't see her because I'm looking this way. And so my interact UI is not up. So basically it means that to interact with an NPC, you have to be close and facing, which is what the current code is doing. So we can change it, but at the moment it's up. The moment is how it works. So it's exactly what we want. Interact. Okay. So yes, would be nice maybe when we are interacting, we are pressing our key to interact, which is the E key. Instead of typing just interacted, which is a bit stupid, we can print out this interaction. Okay? So that we know who we are interacting with when we press E. And then the next step will be to send a hi message. Send a hi message to her and she will reply. That would be very cool. So I think we can remove a bit of these printouts because they're just polluting our things. We have the one on remove, we have this one. Say this interaction object is when we do it when we set the best interaction. I don't think we need this anymore. I think it's fine. I think we can disable it. Maybe for now I can just disable it. I leave this thing. Maybe we'll need it later, but I will not trigger it, so we are not printing anything. What we want to do is when we are pressing E, I want to see this. So I think we can use this. Use this piece when we are pressing E. So when we are pressing E when the input action interacts is triggered. So here we get the selected interaction, which the selected interaction means the best one, so the one that has been selected amongst the many that we have in front of us to be the best one, the closest, the one that is more centered to the camera, whatever it is. And then we click on interact, we trigger interact. Interact is taking the interact character. Wait a second. It's taking where I lost myself. Fuck. Here. So the selected interaction is the target. Okay. But I have two inputs. Why I have one input only here? What the fuck? What is this thing? Why I have only one input when I have two from the other side? What? I'm very confused now. Is this even possible? I mean, that you have a function that gets two parameters as an input, but then inside the function you have only one parameter? What is this? Seriously? What is this? We need two. Obviously we need two. We absolutely need two. You absolutely need two. Why is not called the same? I mean, why is not automatic? I think. Oh, 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 oh. Now we have three. Okay. Now I'm super confused. Why? Why? Now I'm super confused. I added a new parameter and now we have three here. So how do I get my character? No, the character I have. So the character I have. How do I get my target? By the way, character is mapped to target. I'm even more confused now. Guys, I'm confused. If I call it target, what happens? Let's imagine that I call it target. Does the previous screen gives me 2 now instead of 3? No, it still gives me 3. Oh my god. I think I should delete this and redo it because it's not reasonable. Why? Wait a second. It was on his valid, huh? Why? Interact? No. It's not this one, it's this one. It's a function. It's the function interact. It's this one. Now I have 3. I don't know. I think you have to build the function first. I'm so confused. I think I'm not understanding something. I'm confused. Why I'm not typing into this thing sometimes? I'm confused. I typed seem confused. Okay, anyway, I'm confused. Okay. So I create a function which is here, which has 2 inputs, right? Function with 2 inputs. Very simple. One is called character, the other is called target. Now, when I go to use this function here, and I say interact or call interact function, whatever, which is maybe not selecting the right one. Maybe there's another one that is called the same. Huh? Could be. Call interact function. It comes up with 3. Maybe this one is the default target you have on all the function. Oh my god, yes, I think it's start to be a bit late, so that's why. Yes, there is a default. Now the fact is called target is just the default. So this get added anyway, even if you don't have anything, because it's the target blueprint you are calling this function on. Oh, okay, I'm so stupid. Okay, I get it now. I should not call this target, otherwise I will confuse myself even more. Target will stay as target, and is the one that he calls this interaction blueprint on. Okay, that's fine. Selected interaction is, and not call it character, that I'm confusing really too much. We don't need a second one. It was correct as it was. It is not character. It is the can we call it? No, we call it target. We confuse ourselves. But it's basically the target we are interacting with. We can call it target interact. Let's call it target interact. Okay. Let's call it target interact, which is not the target here. Okay, target interact. So the selected interaction is going into the target interact, and the self is going to self. Okay, it's called target. Fuck it. I mean, the fact it's called target is so annoying, but it's fine. So annoying it's called target here. It's so annoying. But it's fine. We can survive this. So this should be called self. It should be called self. Anyway. Okay. So target interact. So we are entering here, and we have our interaction target, which in this case is the lady. So what do? We set interact character to target. Okay, we print out this thing. It's fine. What I would like to do, instead of printing this, I would like to print that myself is interacting with this character. Okay, and this will be, instead of interaction, they use so many times, you use just interact. Okay, so this is just setting that. It's not doing anything else. It's just setting the interact characters. Okay, just setting the interact character variable. And then what do we do? What do we do? After having set that variable, which is here, we do nothing. Right. Yes, because we didn't develop it yet. So okay, we do nothing. So we have to decide what to do. So for now, we just print out the interaction, and then I think that tomorrow, because it's starting to be quite late here, I can expand it and finally send a hi message. Okay, so here it should send the hi message. Is there a empty node? Is there a dummy node? Is there something that I can place? No, there's nothing I can place, but I can do this. And we can say that, can I shrink it a bit? Yeah. Why can I move it now? This temporary printout, who cares? So here we should call we should call the server with a hi message. Okay, call server with hi message. Okay, I think we can do this. Yes, from the interact. So okay, let me just test that at least we print the right printout, but I think we are fine. I think it's working very well. There was only that freaking self thing. The freaking self thing that took us like 2 hours to figure out. Well, 1 hour to figure out, but it's okay. It's okay. And by the way, the interaction between two NPC and player is extremely important. So now that we have set it up once, we can reuse this forever. So we have basically our proximity list done, which in the old PS Code was the wall proximity thingy, which was taking a lot of memory, a lot of time, a lot of everything, just because we built it manually and was not optimized, while Unreal Engine does this interaction to default. Okay, we come here and we see that overlap. Yes, we have an overlap, right? We show the UI, and now we press the E, and we get our crank character interacting. Nice. They're interacting with me. So it works until the overlap, but then after the overlap, for some reason, okay, if there is no interact UI, I cannot not press E. E does nothing, which makes sense, right? So I'm not sending my message to the UI. If I'm here, and so I have an interaction possibility, I can press E, or in the future right click, and it's exactly the same. So we'll do in 1 second. Here I'm interacting to no one. It's not very nice. What do I pass? I pass self, which is me, and I pass the selected interaction. The selected interaction actually should, if the UI pops up, should be valid. Why instead is empty? Oh, wait a second. What is this? No, it's correct. So we set up this interact character, but okay, we set this variable. That is the result. If the value of the variable can use instead of separate get node. Okay, it's fine, but this will return the set of interact character to the target, which is the interact. So you're saying that my interact target is empty? This one, selected interaction, is completely empty? That is not nice. Is really not nice. Why? Why? Selected interaction. So this one is not populated properly. Selected interaction is not populated properly. So when we add the when we do this, it's fine. When we select the best, right? When we get the best interaction, we should at a certain point set that variable, which is the selected interaction here. Why is not working as expected? New interaction. So we are sure it works here because we tested it before, and when I was close to it, it was properly saying I was interacting with the character. So all these variables are valid up to here, up to this piece of the code, because we were getting value out of this. We were getting values out of selected interaction because I was printing it out before. Right? So here is valid. So the only point is I don't want that for some reason it goes through this branch. It goes through this branch and gets cleared out. Because you see here we clear it out. Here we clear the selected interaction. So I don't want it for some reason. We go here. Let me do something here. Let me try to just say so clears selected interaction. Just say what. If there may be a problem, there may be the other character. No, the other character should not do it. I don't know why, but it seems that it's not working properly. I mean, it's working properly up to the point that we solved. It's working very well. But then after that, there is this variable that we use to retain the selected character, and we use it later in the code, and that variable is fucked up for whatever reason. That variable is fucked up for whatever reason. Okay. For now everything seems to be okay. Now we walk there. Walk here. It's very strange. I mean, it's not cleared out, otherwise we would see it. Right? It's not cleared out. I think if I walk away, it's cleared out. See? If I walk away, it clears out, so which is perfect. Exactly what I want. If I walk in, it's set. Why then is not doing it? Why it's not doing it? First directed interaction. So okay, this one is working properly. This piece is working properly. Where do we set it is here, right? This is where we set the selected interaction to the new interaction, and we say for that character we toggle the UI. We toggle the interact UI for that character, right? Which is yes, which is the lady. In my case, is the lady, so it's the target, right? So I toggle the UI on top of the the head of the lady. So yeah, it's good. It's good. Why selected interaction here is valid? Because it is. And then when I press E, this one is not valid anymore. It's very strange. It is extremely strange because this variable is living inside the character blueprint. So it's living inside here. You see it on the left, selected interaction. So it's living inside this character, and it's set like we have seen. And after it's set, it's not cleared. And when I go to press my E thingy, I press my E, it goes here. You check this variable which is selected interaction. You put it into target interact, right? Put into target interact, which is this. And then we set as this other variable which is called interact character. I don't know why we have these two variables, by the way. Why we don't just use selected interaction, which is much easier. Why we need to have another one? Why we need to have another one here? It's just confusing me. But anyway, I think this set should be okay. So unless this one is the wrong, no, but it's not. I think it's correct. Oh, this one is not. Oh, this one is not proper. So when I come here, this one is empty. Basically, this one is empty. Can you believe this? This one is empty. Let me do something quickly. This target interact, get object name is empty. For some reason. Some unknown reason. Target interact. No, sorry, I would like to do it differently. So this one is empty. Why? I don't understand why. This one is empty. tricky, very tricky. So basically you figured out that if you leave your PC on with the stream on, I will think there are people watching and we continue to work on PlaneShift the whole night, huh? This is what you did, huh? This is what you're doing. I know you. I know you. Okay. Let's see what happens here. What? We didn't get any how did interact is valid. Is their map character is valid. How did interact is valid. Why? I mean, if that is valid, what is the issue? I mean, we are here and this one is valid. It's printing out as is this set interact character which is messing up things? Is this set here which is messing up things? Why is messing up things? It comes out as known. I don't know. I think it's something to do tomorrow. But this one, for some unknown reason, comes out as empty. I don't know why. But we will do it tomorrow. It's too late now. I really have to go. I really have to go. It's 1:31. Oh my god. That is fine. I think, yeah, I think that we did a good progress. There is still this small thing to understand. I don't know why this variable is getting messed up. Is a set on a local variable, so what is the problem? But anyway, we can also avoid it. I don't know if this one is used in other places. Yes, I don't know if it's used in other places. But anyway, this is the one that we have to debug. Okay, so what we should do now, we should save everything. The level, I think I touched it slightly, but I don't want to save it. So can I discard this one? What did I touch? No, wait. I touched few things. Also the crank character I touched. I don't want to save that. Blueprint, crank character. Let me just check. Blueprint, crank character is this one. What did I touch here? I think nothing, but we can save it anyway. You see in the viewport, you can see him now. Huh? Very slick. How can I zoom out? Yeah, let's see. So even in the editor, you can see the camera, you can see the interaction. So you see this one is the interaction, box that we have sphere that we have put on him, and it is the one that is used when he's going close to another character to see if he's interacting or not. But anyway, so we can change the shape, we can decide how big, we can do whatever we want just by editing this thing. So super good. I don't understand what he's asking me to save. The login widget, because I think I clicked on some of the buttons just to show you, and the map just because I moved some object around. So okay, I think we don't save this too. Right. And then the last thing we should do is to check in Subversion what we did. We should check in Subversion what we did in case someone else wants to work on it, like Ravna or anyone else. So what did I do? Did I add anything new? No. Did Interact UI? Yes, I added this one, Interact UI. This one has to be added, otherwise cannot work. The map, no. The fold engine, no. The CRAN, okay. The current DP, okay. The step up map, okay. The build data, okay. 24 megabyte, okay. Insane. And that's it. That's it. So improve the interact UI. You can now walk next to the Lermorian NPC and see an interact UI pop up. Nice. Okay, we checked it in. So we are done. Okay, I think that that concludes the stream of today. It was nice. The first time I do this, but I think what's nice is cool to see that there is someone there and I can work while someone is maybe watching or listening or something. So I think it's fine. So thanks. I think I will probably do the same tomorrow. Let me see my schedule of tomorrow and see if there is a chance I can do this, but I think yes. I think if I do it at 10, exactly like I did today, or maybe let's do like this. I skip tomorrow, and I do it on Thursday again. Okay, so because tomorrow most likely I will have to travel. I have to decide what to do, but I have to try. If I have to travel, I cannot do it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will speak to you soon. Watch the calendar to see if I'm going live again, potentially or tonight or Thursday, right? Or tonight or Thursday. See you boys very soon.